Jess, if you had the internet in the 2000s.
What?
I'm asking. See, that's what I mean. That let me know what type of time you was on. You was in Baltimore eating crab cakes, and I already know what time it would have been, because I might have came to see you in 2007 if I'd have known, you know, what I know now.
But you've been bluffing for years. So
ain't nobody been bluffing. Ain't nobody been bluffing.
You became my nephew, and that's it.
Ain't nobody been bluffing.
Anyway, how's your love life?
How's yours?
I'm good. I'm pregnant, and I'm happy now. So what's up?
I mean, I don't understand why you coming at me like that. Like, what is it that you're basing? No.
He was scared.
He was scared. What was I scared of?
I don't know.
What was I scared of? Tell me what I was scared of.
Look, well, it wasn't even that he was scared. He just wasn't with it. Look, when I first got the Wildin' Out, I was like, oh my gosh, I like this nigga. He quiet and shit. Like, he ain't all over the place. Like, you know, he ain't wildin'.
Pick it up, pick it and kill it. Whatever that shit is.
That wasn't even out when I first got there. That was a later game.
That was a later game.
Yeah,
for sure.
so I tried to throw some game on him. But he was like, oh, don't you have a boyfriend? I'm like, who the fuck be worried about that? You know what I mean?
Me.
Like, who? Yeah, right.
I come from out the ghetto. Niggas will kill you about a Jess Hilarious in my hood. You know what I mean?
It, but
I don't play them games.
My boyfriend, he wasn't that type of nigga. So that's the
what
thing.
What type of nigga was he?
That's why, yeah, I did. That's why I was going that chick. I'm like, okay, nah, you cool. You know what I'm saying?
He quiet, he low.
Right. But he really, like, funny, like, he down to earth. I'm like, all right, cool. So I told him that I broke up with him. I'm like, say, like, what's up now? He was like, you didn't break up with him. Like, no, you didn't. And I didn't, but I'm like, this nigga gay. Like, how you not?
You see how fucked up that is? You see that fucked up?
Because he wasn't
Just
interested, he gotta
because
be
you don't
gay?
want that pussy, I don't want none. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I was like, all right, he just gonna be a brother at this point.
Yeah, because you gotta understand, you know, I gotta be very selective with any woman I deal with because of the perspective that I have and how I live. You're not about to come at me, not saying that you would have did this, but I know you would have, just because I know you who you are. You just that type of person that you gonna flash out, but you're not gonna be the only woman that I'm dealing with.
Right, and that's
so I
what
have
he
to be
told me.
very careful with who I let into the way that I operate. Like I say all the time, I make the outside of my house ugly. Because if you can't get, I'm going to lead with all of the shit that you're going to judge a man on. I'm going to let you know these things about me immediately. So you got a choice to make. But when you can see the type of person that a person is, I'm like, just ain't nobody about to be fighting with you at the Cheesecake Factory because you mad about the fact that I done did something that I told you I was doing. Like, she's the type of motherfucker that's going to act like you ain't never told her that shit. Like, I know what you said, bitch, but I wasn't listening.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? It just wouldn't have worked. But don't make it seem like I was scared because I wasn't. I mean,
I want to know how Jess kicks game.
How
does Jess kick game?
Man, she offer you crab legs, Baltimore shit. You want to go get some crab legs? You want to go get some crab legs and listen to some house music? That's what you want to do? You want to
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give our praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth 100% securely. And I'd like to give a salutation to the Akim and Aqua who are listening and studying Solar Pool. This is Brother Bayan from the Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hebrew Israelite Camp, coming back to you with another quick lesson. And the opening clip pretty much gave me the title, which is Enter Not Into Her Path. And the reason for that title is, you know, it's the most obvious. All right, you saw the two comedians, Chico Bean and Jess Hilarious, just explaining what she just explained in the clip. Okay, she shamed Chico Bean for not going along with the little scams and a little trick that she tried to do to persuade him into, you know, committing adultery. All right, that's just call it what it is. And it actually reminded me of a story when Joseph got sold by his brother into captivity. All right, and so Lord willing, we'll go ahead and get that. But women like Jess Hilarious, who are running rampant in America, aka Babylon the Great, have dug many graves. They are, you know, that type of behavior is a reason for a lot of funerals, many grave sites. Many people have perished for basically walking into a past of a woman like that. Okay, that's the reason for the title, Enter Not Into Her Path. Right? And so it's also further proof why the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is living every single day. You actually see it when you paying attention. You see that the word does not come back void, according to Isaiah chapter 55 and 11. All right. Now, real quick, let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9, okay? Because when King Solomon wrote this book, he had a lot of wisdom in it, okay? And these very same wisdom you can live by to this day, and it will save your life, okay? But that behavior that Just Hilarious have shown, there was a story about that with Joseph when he was sold into slavery by his brothers. All right, but first let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9. It said, the thing that has been, it is which shall be, and that which is done, and that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Okay, and there's no new thing under the sun, and the behavior that Just Hilarious have shown is right directly in the scriptures. So we go ahead and get straight to the point, which is the book of Genesis, chapter 39. And really, it's a beautiful thing. You can read this whole chapter, all right, but I'm going to jump down to verse 7. But briefly summarizing, this is when Joseph was sold into captivity, and Pharaoh's guard, his name was Potiphar, who actually bought Joseph. Okay, and then Yahweh Bashim Yahushua was with Joseph. He was blessing Potiphar's house because of Joseph. Okay, and he was getting a lot of blessings, and his house was being blessed as well. But when you jump down to Genesis chapter 39 and 7, which you go ahead and read it, and it says, and it shall come to pass after the thing that his master's wife cast her eye upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me. Okay, when you saw in that opening clip how Just Hilarious had came on to Chico Bean. All right. And I read on in verse 8, and it said, but he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wotting not what is with me in the house, and he had committed all that he had to my hand. There is none greater in this house than I, neither has he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against Yahweh Bashim Yahushua? And so right there you saw that even Joseph had a standard. He was living by the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Okay, and he denied this adulterous and wicked woman who came onto him. And this is the same thing what Chico Bean did. Okay? Now reading on in verse 10, and it says, and it came to pass as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. All right? And it said in verse 11, it said, and it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business. There was none of the men of the house there within, and she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. Okay? And so when you go back into that opening clip, all right, you saw how when Chico Bean basically addressed Just Hilarious, and he said, don't you have a boyfriend? Okay? And you know what you know her response, right? And then she turned back around and she lied and said she didn't have a boyfriend. This is the same scenario that we're reading in Genesis the 39th chapter. Okay? That's why when the scripture said there's nothing new up under the sun, now you see. Okay? Now reading on in Genesis chapter 39, verse 39 and 11, where we left off at, and it says, and it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the man in the house there within, and she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. And it came to pass when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house and spake unto them, saying, see, he has brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. See, and that's that shame that these wicked women do in America, aka Babylon the Great. And it's the same thing what Jess Hilarious tried to do when Chico Bean basically denied her a second time. Okay, he brought shame, falsified shame onto him. Okay, by calling him gay, and this is the same scenario. Okay, she lied and said that he tried to come on to her. Okay, she told the guards that. All right. In verse 15, Genesis 39:15, it says, and it came to pass when he heard that I lift up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came home. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, the Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass as I lifted up my voice and cried that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, after this manner did thy servant to me, this his wrath was kindled, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison and placed in a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. Okay, and that's the same scenario by what a lot of these women do here in America, aka Babylon the Great. Okay, hence the reason why a lot of men and a lot of graves have been dug behind women like this. Okay, and Just Hilarious definitely played a dangerous game. Okay, and another thing I wanted to mention is what Chico Bean mentioned in that clip. He said it pretty much niggas in my hood were killed behind a Just Hilarious, which in what he was insinuating that men were actually killed behind their women. Okay, and that's the reason why many graves have been dug. And so when you go into the read, let's get Proverbs. Okay, Proverbs chapter 6. And we just go straight to the point in verse 34, but I want to read a little commentary on the very same chapter too, Proverbs verse 6 and chapter 7. Okay, but Proverbs 6 and 34, it says, for jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. Okay, and so that was a smart move that he played by. Okay, even though she said her man ain't gonna trip on that. No, you can't take her word at face value. This is why it's a lot of wisdom to apply the scriptures to your life, because it does lead to life. Okay. And reading on verse 35, Proverbs 6 and 35, he said, he will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts. Okay. And so no matter what you do, that jealousy of a husband will basically destroy many men. Okay, and matter of fact, both the adulterer and the husband, and especially in this society, will more than likely one will end up in prison and another will end up in the grave. Okay, now, and it's I got a Oxford Study Bible right here. It's a Revised English Bible, and when you go to the commentary on Proverbs the 6th chapter, we'll go ahead and read up to about Proverbs chapter 6, and we'll start at verse 20. Okay, because it says, my son, observe your father's command, and do not abandon the teaching of your mother. Wear them always neck to your heart, and bind them close about your neck. All right, and there's wisdom in these words. Okay, following the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua always leads to life. Okay, wherever you turn, verse 22, wherever you turn, wisdom will guide you. When you lie down, she will watch over you, and when you wake, she will talk with you. For a commandment is a lamp, and teaching a light, reproof and correction point the way to life. Okay, so accepting the reproof and correction of the scripture is the way to life. All right, verse 24, and it says, to keep you from the wife of another man, from the seductive tongue of the loose woman, do not be infatuated by her beauty, or let her glance captivate you. For a prostitute can be had for the price of a loaf, But a married woman is after the prize of a life. All right. And remember, I told you at the beginning of this lesson is that many women, especially women like Jess Hilarious, have dug many graves. She claimed many men's life. Okay. In verse 27, it said, "Can a man kindle a fire in his bosom without setting his clothes, alight? If a man walk on live coal, will his feet not be scorched? So is he who commits adultery with his neighbor's wife. No one can touch such a woman and go free. Is not a thief contemptible if he steals, even to satisfy his appetite when he is hungry? And if he is caught, must he not pay 7 times over and surrender all that his house contains? So one who commits adultery is a senseless fool. He dishonors the woman and ruins himself. He will get nothing but blows and contumely. And he says, and he can never live down the disgrace. For a husband's anger is rooted in jealousy, and he will show no mercy when he takes revenge. Compensation would not buy his forgiveness, nor will a present, however large, purchase his connivance. All right? And so that's another example on why the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is so important, especially in situations like when a seductive woman come onto you. Okay? Now, Proverbs chapter 7 in the very same book is Oxford Study Bible. When we go ahead and read the whole chapter, it says, "My son, keep my words, store up my commands in your mind. Keep my command if you would live, and treasure my teaching as the apple of your eye. Wear them like a ring on your fingers, and inscribe them on the tablets of your memory. Call wisdom your sister, greet understanding as a familiar friend. Then they will save you from the adulteress, from the loose woman with her seductive words. I glanced out the window of my house. I looked down through the lattice and saw among the simpleton, among the young men, there I noticed a lad devoid of all sense. He was passing along the street at her corner, stepping out in the direction of her house. At twilight, as the day faded, at dusk, as the night grew dark, and there a woman came to meet him. She was dressed like a prostitute, full of wiles. Flighty and incontent, a woman never content to stay at home, lying in wait by every corner, now in the streets, now in the street, now in the public squares. She caught hold of him and kissed him. Brazenly, she accosted him and said, I had a sacrifice and offering to make, and I have paid my vows today. So I came out to meet you, to look for you, and now I have found you. I have spread covering on my couch, colored linen from Egypt. I have performed my bed with myrrh, aloe, and cassia. Come, let us drown ourselves in pleasure. Let us abandon ourselves into a night of love, for my husband is not at home. He has gone away on a long journey, taking a bag of silver with him. He will not be home until full moon. Persuasively she cajoled him, coaxing him with seductive words. He followed her, the simple fool, like an ox on his way to be slaughtered, like an antelope bounding into the noose, like a bird hurrying into the trap. He did not know he was risking his life until the arrow pierced his vitals. But now, my son, listen to me and attend to what I say. Do not let desire entice you into her ways. Do not stray down her path. Many has she wounded and laid low, and her victims are without number. Her house is the entry to Sheol, leading down to the halls of death. You see that? And so that's another reason why you should not enter into her path. All right? And so this is just a quick lesson. And, what is another scripture made me think about was Proverbs chapter 25 and 24. And that pretty much read Luke Pepper. Matter of fact, let's go get that real quick. I think I said Proverbs, but I mean Ecclesiastica, Salakia. Let's go get that real quick. Real quick. Salakia. All right, yeah. So this is it's Ecclesiastica, aka Sirach, chapter 25 and 24. All right, would be the point, but we can actually read Ecclesiastes 25 and 19, okay? Because it says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of the sinner fall upon her. All right. And you can see in that open clip when Just Hilarious, when Chico Bean asked, don't you have a boyfriend? And her response is, what nigga think about that? You know, why, who, what, you know, that was her response. Okay. Because her action, her behavior is but little, okay? Because that means because she was wicked, all right? It means nothing to her. As a matter of fact, when you read Proverbs chapter 30, that's why Proverbs have a lot of wisdom, man, that should be followed. You know, if you're going to live in this sinful and adulterous nature in America, aka Babylon the Great. But it's Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 20, and it says, such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness. You see that? And so her mindset is that she don't think she did anything wrong. She don't think that the man that she had, you know, at that time did not care. Okay, maybe he didn't, maybe he don't, but there's men out here that will kill behind a woman, and Chico Bean mentioned that in the clip. And this is not to praise, you know, these celebrities, because we know the celebrities don't really follow the ways of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, but the fact that he denied her in the beginning, that was wisdom right there. All right, and that should be wisdom that should be applied in every day going forward, pretty much. Okay, so going back into Ecclesiastica, aka Sirach, chapter 25, and pretty much the point of verse 24. We'll go ahead and read down to 24. Ecclesiastica, aka Sirach, 25 and 19 again. It says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, and let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. As the climbing of a sandy way is to the feet of the age, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. And it says, stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, imputed, and much reproach. A wicked woman abated the courage and maketh a heavy countenance and wounded heart. A woman that would not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hand and feeble knees. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. And that's why a lot of women have been a reason for many graves that's been dug. All right. Low willingness to satisfy. Shalom. Shalom.